So, it's been a little while. My bad. However, damn, that's kind of red. Whatever. I was perusing Reddit. I've been away from YouTube, but I've been still playing League. But I was perusing the Riven Maid subreddit, and I saw a particular thread that caught my eye. This user was asking, or saying, I've tried to pick up this champ 2 times, but have dropped her because it is so demanding. But I'm determined this time, and I'm wondering what mechanics I need to know. And helpful Riven main Sam Monster 3 was giving him a couple of suggestions, and the user said, do you mind explaining the double cast to me? It's always interesting for me, kind of seeing how many people are trying to pick up and play the game. It makes me feel like the game's not dying. We're not going to talk about whether it is or not, but let's kind of get into double casting and see what we're talking about. These are our runes. You can pause here. Very standard for Riven as of pre-season 11. So, double casting. Let's get into, in theory, what a double cast is. You are looking to cast 2 spells simultaneously. Now, that sounds kind of, like, okay, well, I might get that, right? But there are a couple reasons why this isn't so obvious for people. And most of that comes in to do with how you actually start and initiate your double cast. Put up a couple dummies for us to use. So if you Q and, or if you want to hit W and Q, or Q and W, right? Or WQ, right? It's a little slow. The double cast aims to fix that. Not only is it going to make it faster, it's going to make it more fluid. You're trying to increase your mobility and increase your DPS by double casting. You can accomplish both, or one or the other. It doesn't really matter which. Let's turn off the minions so we don't get bothered. You initiate every standard double cast by casting E, Valor. This is Riven's only survivability spell. You are giving up your literal only survivability spell for DPS and mobility. This is important to know when you're limit testing. So if you go for a double cast and you lose, it's because you took it and they were too high of HP and you needed that survivability or that mobility to get out, because you're combining your Q in most double casts, so you're losing 2 mobility spells, not 1. So let's get into it. You start with your E. That's how you start every double cast, every conventional double cast. I'll get into the exception a little later. If we look at our E indicator, our ranges, there is a circle right at the end, right as you get to that ending point. That's where you will start hitting your 2 spells. I'm going to use W and Q because this is a simple double cast that you can do from level 3 throughout the entire game. Doesn't require your ult, doesn't require any items. So you can see there, even on Q3, I start my W, and while my W is starting to go, Riven's going to override that cast with her Q. And that's going to be important for understanding our exception double cast that I was referring to later, is Riven's Q will take any cast and you can Q out of it. Recall's the exception. You can't Q out of the load up. W load up. With a double cast, doesn't matter. You can see that bar that normally appears right there, that goes all the way across your screen. That'll go away. Can you even see it? Let me do it a little slower. Should have seen it just for a little bit right there. If you do it quick enough, might not even see it. In Q3, it's easier to see it during Q3. So, now that ending part that I was talking about, right at the end when you can start hitting your buttons, the easiest way to get this right isn't for looking for how far you travel, because if you're up against a wall, it still works. It's a timing thing. So you got to feel out the timing. You can do it a little early, and if you want, even do it kind of late. So I was starting to walk right there instead of. So that's if you do it too early. That's how you know you did it wrong. You'll W, and after your W is done, then you'll Q. That's how you know if you do it wrong. Like that. So there's a little window in there, and that window's going to be nice for us in a minute. Now, what other abilities can we do instead of W? You might have noticed when we're walking around and you got to stop for W. You also have to stop when you cast R. Both R's. Well, as it would happen, you can EWQ. You can also ERQ. Or Win/Q. Win/Q is already kind of fast, so it's not as useful, admittedly, but you can. Generally, you want to Q second, because that's going to get you out of the cast animation. Now, can you only double cast with Q second? So let's just say anything other than E or Q after your Valor, right? So you Valor, R, W, or Gore Drinker, because that also has a cast. See that? Any of those three, followed by a Q. All of them will work. EWQ, ERQ, Hydra Q, Win/Q. All of them work. Well, what if I don't want to end it with Q? Right? What if I want to end it with W? Hydra W. RW. Win/W. All of them work. Now, what if we go the opposite direction? What if we EWR? It's slow. So, in terms of priority of what you would want to cast last, if it's on your ability bar, if you read it left to right first, that will be the last thing you cast. So Q will be the last thing you cast. If you're not double casting with Q, W will be the last thing you cast. R will always be first if you are planning on hitting R. Gore Drinker will function very, very similar to your W. So, if you E, then you Gore Drinker, and then you W, that is faster. So, plug Gore Drinker in between Q and W in terms of priority. That means you're going to always be R Gore Drinker. In theory, you can be Gore Drinker R. The exception is Wind Slash. Wind Slash is very interesting. Our Gore Drinker is very fast. It's like Wind Slash Q. By itself, it's already very quick. So don't worry about that. Now, because you have to stop casts, all of these are very useful. Now there's a couple audibles you can make. So, if we wanted to make an audible in our double cast, what happens when you press something in here before you get to your endpoint, right? Does that ruin your double cast? Not always, actually. Let's just say we want to auto attack. That's the most basic thing that you can do in League of Legends, right? E, we can still do it, right? What if we wanted to Gore Drinker? We can still do it. What if I wanted to click R? Can still do it. If I wanted to Wind Slash, can still do it. Well, that's kind of interesting. Well, we've got a decent amount of space in here. What if I want to do two things? Let's do ER, auto attack, WQ. That WQ at the end is the double cast. Still works. Let's do E, Wind Slash, auto attack, WQ. Still works. Let's do ER, Gore Drinker, auto attack, WQ. Let's do that one more time. Still works. I don't know if I've never attempted E, Wind Slash, Hydra, auto attack, WQ. Still works. I missed the timing. I hit W too early. So it is possible to do some of this stuff. A little bit too fast still, even with all of this packed in. You have the ability to fit two casts and an optional auto attack during the travel time of your E, and then right at the end is where the double cast is. All this middle bit, don't worry about it at first. Focus on getting the timing on your double casts. Just nothing in between in that E area. Don't worry about the auto attack. Don't worry about doing R, Gore Drinker, etc. Don't worry about it. Get the timing first. Once you get the timing, add an auto attack. It's actually a lot easier to land a double cast like E, RQ, or E, WQ with that auto attack. It gives you an auditory cue. After you hear that sound, you can just go. Now, I mentioned an exception double cast. Not many people really look into this because it's honestly not worth your time. But if someone's gonna talk about it, I should talk about it here. Prowler's Claw. Let's watch. I get a cast bar, right? Cast bar, just like W, just like R. So maybe I can Prowler's Claw WQ, right? That was kind of clunky, right? That was kind of clunky. Well, remember when I said Q gets you out of any cast? Let's Q instead of W in first. See that? A lot faster. Now, Riven is very interesting in that Broken Wings will stop Prowler's Claw from happening entirely. That means if your mouse is on the wrong unit, or you move it when you're casting it, that's what you're supposed to do. You can accidentally knock yourself out of it. The important thing here is when you cancel it, where's my Prowler's Claw debuff? If I Prowler's Claw this, I got that 15% increased damage to that target. Right. Well, where is it? I got my Cleaver. I had my Cyrilda's Grudge. Where's my Prowler's Claw? Prowler's Claw will apply the instant your character model goes through theirs. So the timing's a little particular, because if their player is running away from you or towards you or off to the sides, this can change your timing. So it's all visual. You can't memorize timing for this. That, see there? Let's actually sell Cleaver and Cyrilda's so you get a better idea of when this actually happens. See that yellow icon? That's if you hit. That's if you get it right. If you do it too fast, not only did I not hit them, no icon, right? So that's how you know. You always Q first. You can Q anything else. Cast anything else. Prowler's Claw, QW. Now, what if I do E first? What do you think happens if I E and then Prowler's Claw? Well, I mentioned you've got all of this distance, right? All that distance to fit in 2 casts, an auto attack, and then double cast. Is that enough time, do you think, to land a double cast after Prowler's Claw? Well, let's find out. Yes, it still works. So if you E, then you Prowler's Claw, you can use the exact same double casts from the first part of this video, all the same. It's if you don't have E, or you want to save E, you can utilize the Q first trick, where you are reading backwards. Right? When I was talking left to right, you can then reverse and Q last. Now, you can combo this with a few other things. The thing that I have recently liked to do is you Prowler's Claw, you Q, you R1, then you W. The idea is you hit the Prowler's Claw first, you Q to break it, dealing 15% increased damage on your Prowler's Claw. You R1 to give you bonus AD and range, and then you W, stunning them in place. They need a blink or a CC immune dash to get out of this.
The time for talk is over.
So I even added an extra auto attack in there, and you still got about a second or so to do damage with that 15% increased damage window. So let's do that one more time. So I canceled that last auto attack because it would not have done that 15% increased damage. So I did all of that, including Wind Slash, during that 15% increased damage window. So Prowler's Claw isn't as bad as some people make it out. Generally, Eclipse is really good for short trading. It gives you the Omnivamp that Gore Drinker would give you. It gives you a secondary shield. But if you're talking raw damage, kill one target, instantly. Hybrid crit Prowler's Claw Riven will kill it faster. Riven does have a lot of overkill damage. You don't actually need to worry about overkilling stuff often with Riven, but that's some other things of note. Excuse me. And then there's flashing during a double cast. Anytime before your double cast, you can also flash. Now, flash is an instant blink, right? So with perfect APM, you should be able to do any normal double cast that you can do with flash unhindered. Should not change anything of what's possible. It's just another input. You have to get the timing correct still. So let's see if we can get... I'm gonna try to go for that E, R1, Gore Drinker, Flash, Auto Attack, WQ. So I keep skipping the auto attack because normally if you did all of that, if you do all of that, they're casting something to get away from you. If you instantly double cast on them with W, they're at least locked in place for a split second where you can maybe get Wind Slash or something else off auto attack. But yeah, you gotta have some quick fingers to do this. There we go. I think that was it right there. Yeah. I think that was it. Yep. So it is possible. It just adds an extra level of complexity. Now, there's input buffering. We've talked about if you click someone, you'll walk up and then you'll auto attack them the minute you're in range. Very similar thing will happen with Prowler's Claw or many other dash spells like you'll see Diana E. You can input buffer that. You click E on the target and the minute you walk in range, Diana will dash to them. Same thing with Ignite. Same thing with Prowler's Claw. Input buffering can be used on your auto attack. So if I wanted to auto attack this guy, if I flash and I'm in range of him for like maybe 0.16 seconds or so at this attack speed, my auto attack will go through even if they flash away. They would need to hourglass it. It's the only way. So, what you can do, this is a double cast popularized by Adrian Riven. You can E, input your auto attack, E, right? Well, let's add the double cast to that. That's 1351, right? So let's see what a normal double cast does. 736 at no crit. So I screwed that up. We'll redo this for 781 with some Conqueror stacks. So you can see you can delay that a long time. There you go. 43k DPS. 1436. 1351, which was the same as before. So if you wait, you can hit somebody with one of them, do that real fast. And then one very unique thing to Riven and the double cast. You can see here, 2 numbers, right? That's because I'm being a little slow hitting WQ. I'm going E, WQ, E, WQ. Well, if you get them very tightly lined up, 763. That's the sum of the 2 damage numbers. Now you might ask yourself, well, why is it when you do this slower, we're all doing 813, right? However, this is where it gets interesting. We're going to add 50 armor to this target. Now I'm just going to stack up Conqueror here, so it's the same on all these. Let's give it a sec. Right? You can't get the same numbers to pop up for EWQ3, only the first 2. Then let's give this dummy, what is that? Control Shift G, 50 armor MR. Oh, I managed to execute myself. There we go, 50 on both. Okay, let's stack up Conqueror. Interesting, 602 for both, right? $605. That's interesting. 615. $602. You might be wondering, why is this changing around? Take a look at the debuffs here. 2, right? That coincides with the number of instances of damage I dealt. One stack of cleaver. If you get it fast enough that you only hit one of those spells, you will actually shred less armor. So, it's almost never worth thinking about. However, in a full AD team, doing as many instances of damage as your only cleaver user on your team is sometimes better on tanks and tanks alone, because it's percent armor reduction. The higher armor stat they have, the more useful those stacks are. Just a quirk. Well, I believe that is it for the double cast. We went over reasons why you use the double cast, how to start your double cast, where the double cast timing is in your Valor dash, and the things possible in the middle of your Valor dash. We went over the unique Prowler's Claw double cast, as well as flashing during your double cast, and finally a very, very extremely niche decision of, do I want my stacks or do I want my double cast to be as tight as possible and have the most instances of damage possible? If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Again, sorry it's been a little while since I made one of these. If you somehow stuck it out and found yourself back here for my last one, stuff happens. But yeah, if there's anything I didn't hit or you have any questions after watching this video, please let me know. I spent like 30 minutes on this to be as exhaustive as I possibly could. I know that's going to turn off a lot of people for some basics, but I wanted to make sure that if someone had a question, it would be answered. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Maybe, hopefully not like 3 years later. Well, I'll try better about that.